Okay, so good day, class. No, um, this is my recorded lesson for our week 6 and 7. The first slide that I was able to share with you. So I'm recording this lesson for you to watch later in your convenient time. Um, in lieu of me not doing face-to-face um lesson or discussion since I'm currently not feeling well. But we need to finish this topic, no? So after this will be the next slide that I have already sent to you through our GCs, but that will be sent to you maybe early next week na. So our lecture discussion will cover 5 theories as seen in our objective. So these are the objectives of the lesson. So number one is to identify the different nursing theory and theories included in middle range theories. So after 3 hours of lecture discussion, you will be able to identify, no, or get to know the theories under Hildegard Peplau, Jean Watson, Ida Jean Orlando, Madeline Leininger, Nola Pender, and to each theory be able to define the meta-paradigm concept. So the first theory is of Hildegard Peplau. The theory of Hildegard Peplau is interpersonal relations theory. So it is centered on the importance, the work, no, the essence of the nurse patient relationship, or what we call NPR. Hildegard Peplau was an American nurse and the first published nursing theory since Florence Nightingale. She was known for the theory, which I already stated, interpersonal relations theory, and she helped revolutionize nurses, no, in their scholarly work. Her achievements are valued by nurses worldwide, and she has become known to many as the mother of psychiatric nursing and the nurse of the century. So, in her theory, she defined nursing as an interpersonal process because it involves interaction between two or more individuals with a common goal. No? More like the definition of a transaction, 'di ba? From the previous theories that we discussed. So, she has stated, no, and reiterated that nursing is therapeutic kasi it is a healing art that involves assisting an individual who is sick or in need of healthcare. This theory, the interpersonal relations theory, involves three sequential phases. Pag sinabing sequential, magkakasunod-sunod. Okay. So these three sequential phases are as follows. Number one is orientation. Two is working phase. Under working phase, may dalawa tayong sub-phases, which is the introduction and exploitation. And number three is what we call the resolution, no? Where we close the relationship because we are no longer, no, the work for us is done by this time. So let's take a look at what orientation phase or what are um, included in the phases. So during orientation phase, if you have browsed the slides that I gave you, here we function, no, one of the roles we function is of the stranger role. Bakit? Eto yung kaka-meet mo pa lang sa pasyente. This is where we introduce ourselves and we identify or get to know our patient. This is where the patient learns if what services are we providing and that they can depend on us. So the most important part of the orientation phase is the building of trust, no? A trustful relationship with the patient. So the nurse's orientation phase involves engaging the client in treatment, providing explanations and information, and answering questions. Here, the client seeks assistance, no? Dito siya hihingi ng tulong and sasabihin kung ano ang kailangan niya. Magtatanong. So, importante ang sabi ko, we build trust, we build a rapport with our patient so that they can freely ask what they want to know and that they can tell what is really the problem or they can define, no, or describe to us. And it will be very beneficial for us if we are able to get the information we need. In the working phase, we have, sabi ko, ito na yung dalawang sub-phases, identification, exploration, or what we call exploitation. So, in the working phase, you already had done your assessment. Nakilala mo na ang pasyente. Here, you already know what is the problem or you have an inclination, an inkling kung anong problema ng pasyente. So, what happens here is that you now identify or you know kung ano ang mga kailangan ng pasyente or kung sino. For example, does the patient need to be consulted with a dietitian? Do we need the physical therapy department to come and see the patient? No? Kailangan niya ba ang respiratory therapy? And so on and so forth. Ano pa ba ang mga kailangan ng pasyente sa sitwasyon or sa condition that he is now in? And because we are able to, we have built that rapport and trust with the patient in the working phase, the patient now feels he belongs, no? Na nakaka-open up na siya because we permit exploration of feelings. Another subphase is the exploration or exploitation, the use of the services that we offer. Yan yun. Here, it involves problem-solving alternatives and the development of independence. And here we explore, no? Lahat ng mga avenues na pwede natin matulungan ng pasyente, we explore that one and we try to provide. Hence the term exploitation to use. And when all of those are done, no? Halimbawa, a working phase is being admitted na siya or you're already, the patient is already in your care. So, when all of that is done and the patient has improved or for discharge or tapos na, no? Tapos na yung therapeutic relationship that exists between the nurse and the patient, comes the resolution phase. It is the termination of professional relationship where needs have already been met by collaboration of efforts and now, yung mga old goals ng pasyente, gusto niyang, halimbawa, ipababa yung kanyang cholesterol, ang mga goal niya, nung working phase kayo, gusto niyang baguhin ang kanyang dietary and lifestyle. So, here, now, he will be able to adopt new goals because at this time, na-meet na natin yung prior na goals niya when we are still in the working phase. So those are the three sequential phases. And here we have in this slide are the roles of the nurse in the NPR, which she has itemized, no? 6 roles are presented by Hildegard, and there's a couple more as additional. So number 1 or the first role is being a stranger. So what does that entail? Pag nakaka-meet tayo ng bagong pasyente, we have to know the patient. That is why it's called stranger role because we receive the client in the same way one meets a stranger in other life situations. So you have to know the patient, you have to observe, you have to get trust, no? And get all the information necessary for the transaction or during that interaction. So that's what it means when we say stranger role. Next is teacher. Kasi of course, we are imparting knowledge to our patient. That is very important kasi itong teacher and a resource person, no? Para siyang it goes hand in hand. You are being the specific point person from which the information is being taken from. And usually, when it's from a nurse, talagang pina-follow or credible siya, no? Nakunan siya ng information or ng health teaching. So being a teacher and being a resource person demands na we have to learn the things that we impart to or that we share with our patients. We never say things that we are not sure of, and we never impart half-baked truths that we are or konti lang yung alam natin. Kasi we know that that information will be used by that person one way or one way or another in his way of life. Next, counselor. So when we're counselor, we integrate meaning, no, from the experiences that we have or experiences that was shared to us. The lessons that we took from those experiences, we now use to guide another human being in understanding or um, understanding a problem or making solution. Number five, surrogate. Pag sinabing surrogate, you act in behalf of the patient. You act in behalf of the patient as an advocate. That is what it means to be a surrogate. And number six is leader. So when you're a leader, first, saan ka ba dapat when you're a leader? Nasa likod, nasa harap. So usually nasa harap. So you're the role model. You lead the way. But you don't just stay in front, no? And the patient becomes dependent all his entire life. No. A leader is when you help the patient assume responsibility for meeting treatment goals in a mutually satisfying way. So that is how Hildegard identifies us when we are in the nurse-patient relationship, when we are with the patient. So these are the six primary roles. Other than that, there are some additional roles that was identified or also stated, no? Bukod dito sa 11 na 'to, marami pa. There are a lot of roles that we have to fulfill when we are dealing with our patients. But to name a few, we are also technical experts, no? We have to be updated on what is new, on how to do things, and we explain the technicality of things, not just the technology. We are also consultants, health teachers, tutors, socializing agents, safety agents. Kaya nga, when you come into duty or if you are in the field, hindi lang basta you show up. No, you have to check everything is in its proper place. Everything is working. All the things that are not working have been informed to the maintenance. Kailangan i-follow up natin yung mga bagay-bagay na hindi gumagana. No? Those are things. Pag may tumutulong ceiling, we have to inform the utility. They have to put something, a signage. No? Bakit ma'am? Bakit kailangan ganun? Because we are also safety officers wherever we go. Kasi safety is our primary concern with our colleagues, especially with our patients. Manager of environment, 'di ba? It was really reiterated by Florence Nightingale. That is one of the functions of nurse. Mediator, administrator, researcher, and recorder, or a documenter. So those are the additional roles. This slide, class, you will see, no, binangga natin yung nursing process and the NPR phases, the sequential phases. So, yung nursing process, if you can remember, it's ADPI, no? Assessment, diagnosis, planning, implementation, and evaluation. So, when we try to compare the sequential phases, kailan nangyayari ang assessment? It is during orientation. Kasi here, no, you are getting to know each other. You're getting to know the patient. You know, the patient is learning if he or she can trust you. So, assessment yon. The diagnosis and planning will fall with identification phase or the working phase, one of the sub phases of the working phase, the identification. You identify what the problem is after you gather all the information. Then you exploit, no? You use all the things that we can offer in order to implement kung ano sa tingin nyo ang pinaka the best sa na-identify nyo na problem in identification. So implementation is exploitation. And the last is when you are done, no? Tapos na ang shift mo, you're going, or discharge ng patient, then you have to terminate or you have to end. That happens during evaluation, and that is equal to resolution. So in the theory, interpersonal relations theory, she identified the person in the theory as a developing organism na tries to reduce anxiety caused by needs, environment, with existing forces outside the organism in the context of culture. Health demand is identified or defined as the forward movement of personality and other human processes. No? Parang sounds like siya, no? Merong same na na definition ng health, no? Because theories are basically interrelated to each other. And nursing in NPR is defined as the thing that functions cooperatively with other human processes that makes health possible for individuals in communities. Okay, so that sums up Hildegard's theory. Next, we move forward to Margaret Jane Harman Watson and her philosophy of human care. So Jane Watson developed the theory and science of caring to help ease some of her own personal frustrations with the profession of nursing. She wanted to create order, bring meaning, and develop structure in the profession. So for her, caring is a concept that reflects a respectful, non-judgmental, supportive, and protective attitude, while it deeply contributes to the healing process. According to her and her theory, caring goes beyond the physical and transcends into a more spiritual realm, wherein the nurse and patient form a transpersonal caring relationship. No? So it talks about how we take care of things or we do things just because we care. No? That in this profession, it has to be the core of our being. In such a relationship where the nurse and the patient form that transpersonal caring relationship, both the patient and the nurse promote healing. So, in her theory, she proposed 10 curative factors. Ano ba yung curative? From the root word care, no? And tive, T-I-V-E, is somehow verb, no? It connotes how will you show that you care? What are the factors that will express the caring attributes of the nurse to the patient or to another human being? So number one, forming humanistic, altruistic value system. So the practice of loving kindness and fairness within context of caring consciousness. Ito yung um, when we do things because we really want to help, no? We want to relate, we want to do better. When we talk about altruistic, it's a selfless need and want to give or to help. Number two, another karate factor, how to express the caring nature in nursing, instilling faith and hope. So when we instill faith and hope, how do we do that? Be there, no? Be present for your patients. Be authentically present. If it was Carl Rogers, ang sasabihin niya, be congruent and enable and sustain the deep belief system and subjective life world of self and one being cared for. Some people would do um, pay it forward, no? And this pay it forward practice, when you do for others what you wanted to, no, for you, anong gusto mong gawin nila sa'yo, gawin mo na sa iba. And slowly, when you keep on doing that, hopefully, bilog ang mundo, babalik, no? Babalik siya. So, pay it forward. Don't wait for it to be done to you. Cultivating sensitivity to self and others. So, when we cultivate sensitivity to ourselves and we learn to be sensitive and considerate for others, that's another character factor. Fourth is developing healthy trust relationship, which is very vital to our or to the nursing profession because you really need to build that rapport with your patients. It is the only way for the patients to really open up. And it is your job, no? It is a nursing job. It is really the goal. So to be trustworthy for the patient to know now, he can always depend on you. Then, promoting expression of feelings. Expression of either negative or positive feelings. Mas when we feel that there is unconditional positive regard, no? That we are being heard, kahit positive or negative yung na-feel natin when we have this feeling of belongingness. So that's one way of expressing also care to others. Six, using problem solving for decision making. Seven is promoting supportive environment. So, in one of the barangays here in Coronadal, no, meron sila doon nakalagay, our clinic is an adolescent safe zone. Ano ibig sabihin nun? They're, they're showing na, or they're making known to the patients na not only are the barangay supportive, it is also a safe place for them to go to. Eight is promoting teaching learning. So sabi nga ni Tatlao, di ba? One of our role is that we are teachers, no? In any way, we are going to be teachers. So in order for us to truly exhibit the caring role that we have, then we have to learn how to impart knowledge, which is appropriate right to our patients that can help them. Nine is assisting of gratification of human needs, no? From the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have physiological, safety and security. So us nurses, when there is self-care deficit, we make sure that our patients are, or that the patient's needs are being met. Okay, if the patient cannot, for example, we, no, we promote or we consult with the doctor. Doc, patient is at risk of aspiration, matukan sa doc. So, sinasabi natin yan sa doctor. So, the doctor can order the appropriate measure so that the patient can be fed, no, in other safe ways. And number 10 is allowing for existential phenomenological forces. So here, opening and attending to a spiritual, mysterious, and existential dimension of one's life and death. So whatever they believe in, the things that they believe in that will not contradict or is not life threatening to them, we try to respect that as well. So those are the 10 curative factors. Yun lang, yun yung kanyang theory. So in the concept of the nursing meta paradigm, she has several definitions, no, procured from the theory itself. That a person is a subjective and unique individual. Hindi tayo objective, hindi tayo predictable. And so, we are not calculating. We are unique in our own way. So, for every situation, there is another unique reaction. We have distinct human needs, which are composed of a lot of aspects of our life: biophysical, psychophysical, psychosocial, and interpersonal. And that a person is to be valued, cared for, respected, nurtured, understood, and assisted. So she added that the person is also directly influenced by the environment that she is or he is. Where the second part of the meta paradigm for the environment, in-acknowledge na din, no, the environment affects both patients and nurses. And usually when we are settled in one area or in one place, for a long time, we make it seem like it's our home. So parang home-like, ang environment lagi. Kung saan tayo na lalagi, saan tayo malimit or madalas makita. But even if it's home-like, it's not necessarily perfect, of all the characteristics needed for it to be identified as a healing space. So she added, it has to have the factors which was first introduced by Florence Nightingale for it to become healing spaces, like noise, privacy, light, access to nature, color, space, smell. And all of these have have an impact on the caring healing process. Health, on the other hand, is the unity and harmony within the mind, the body, and the soul. So it is perceived by the patient and is influenced by the experiences that they uniquely face. So it includes health, an individual's physical, social, aesthetic, and moral realms, not just their behavior and physiology. Whereas nursing, she or the theory itself as defined is a caring, a meaningful, and a bond which supports or promotes harmony between the nurse, the patient, and the environment. It is a holistic practice, pero complementary siya sa medicine. So that's all for um, the theory of human care. Third theorist in our list is Ida Jean Orlando and her theory of the deliberative nursing process. So when we talk about the deliberative nursing process, it is one that allows the nurse, to formulate the effective nursing care plan. Yung ADPI, assessment, diagnosis, planning, implementation, and evaluation, that is what is needed, to formulate that care plan, which is essentially what we do, when we provide care to our patients. So this nursing care plan can also be easily adapted and can be changed if any complexity comes up with the patient. So the NCP or the nursing care plan, which is the output of this deliberative nursing process, is very fluid. Meaning, pwede mo siyang palitan na ayon sa estado o sa kondisyon ng pasyente. So she proposed, Ida proposed that patients have their own meanings and interpretations of situations, and therefore, ang kailangan gawin ng mga nurses is to first validate their inferences and analysis with patients before concluding. No? Kailangan i-validate, i-verify ang data. Because sometimes, what we think is happening is not really what's happening when we talk about patients. So the theory itself is not only focused on the 5 steps of the nursing process. Hindi lang siya doon, no, sa ADPI. It talks more about what's happening. So these are the assumptions that was extracted about nursing. Number 1, nursing is a distinct profession, separate from other disciplines. Although aligned, we are completely separate. And because we are separate, we have a distinct function and therefore a different, distinct outcome. So she, in her theory, she emphasized that there's a difference between lay and professional nursing, and that although distinct siya, it is always aligned with medicine. On this slide, we have the assumptions about patients. Ano naman daw yung, when we talk about assumptions, the relationship of the variable. So what is the relationship of all these theories with the variable, which is patient? So patients' needs for help are unique, iba-iba, although they might have the same situation and even the same diagnosis. But what they need is, and it's really possible to be different, no, than the other one na pareho sila. Another assumption is that all patients have the ability to communicate the needs that they have. If not verbally, then for sure non-verbally. And then when patients cannot meet their own needs, no, example, when we grow old or when suddenly we are um, experiencing a condition and can no longer do the things that we were used to do on our own independently. Nagpo-frustrate talaga ang pasyente. It can really be a source of frustration, even depression. No? So, totoo yun. The patient's behavior is always meaningful. Something has made it that way. Bakit siya irate? Bakit siya galit na galit? Maybe he's in pain. Or why is he withdrawn and isolated? Maybe he is in pain. Next assumption is about nurses. To each patient, a unique set of needs. And to each nurse is a unique set of reaction depending on the condition of the patients. Another thing, no, to note from her theory, nurses should not add to the patient's distress. That's why, kahit na burnout, talaga much is expected of us because we are called for service when truly a person is in need. Kailangan tayo dumagdag sa distress na feel nila. What is the major tool na kailangan ng nurse in helping patients? It is her mind. That's why we have the academe, the nursing program. 32% of what you need to know will come from theories. Another 30% will come from the application or the experience that you have. And the rest of the last 30 will come from the total application. And all of this is necessary because the major equipment that you need when you are already practicing is your mind, no? How you react, how you respond to unique situations when need is demanded or when help is demanded. Then Nurses use the automatic responses, and if they use this automatic response, it prevents the responsibility of nursing from being fulfilled. Pero if you have browsed the slide, you will see that there's actually two kinds of nurses activity, the automatic and the deliberative. Meron talagang time na automatic responses ang kailangan natin. Okay. What is the difference between two? And why did you say, no, na the responsibility of nursing is prevented from being fulfilled? Bakit? No? Kasi nga automatic. You need not to think about the things you will do because it has already been laid out. Kasi automatic. So, kailan lang gagamitin itong automatic responses? We will learn that in the next few slides. And last but not the least, nurses practice or a nurse practice is improved through self-reflection. Kaya nga pagkatapos ng lesson, no, you're already in your bed, you have to reflect on the things that you have learned and try to relate it with your life or your experiences or things that you have read. When you're already in the higher years promoted, every after duty, you also reflect what have I learned for today, anong mga nalaman ko, what are my lapses or the things that I wasn't able to do successfully, and how can I do it better next time? Because we learn by experience and by reflection to the experiences that we acquire. So yun. And the last, assumption ng nurse-patient situation. So, the nurse-patient situation, after the theory was presented, the assumption is it's a dynamic whole, it's an ever-changing, no, process. And everything that transpires with the interaction of the nurse to the patient adds up to the major source of nursing knowledge. Lahat ng interaction niyo sa pasyente will become experiences you will look back to. And those experiences will add up to your stored knowledge. Lahat talaga. Eh, bakit nagiging major, no? Bakit importante itong major source of nursing knowledge? Because nursing knowledge aids doctors in the development of their own treatment plan. No? It helps the multidisciplinary team. At times when there is doubt, they go back to our documentation. Ano pa nangyari? Or ang nurse agad ang tatanungin. Maybe because the nurse is one or is the one at bedside. Siya talaga yung nandoon. So, walang dapat nakakakilala sa pasyente. No? You will expect this from yourself. Wala dapat sa mas may makakilala sa patient ko, but me, because I am the one here. So all of those, no, the phenomenon with each encounter we have with our patients adds up to the knowledge that we use in our practice. So the following are the major concepts. So letter A, we have patient's behavior. What is the patient's behavior? It is a plea for help. It represents a plea for help. It can be verbal, it can be non-verbal. And this is what we observe, no? This is what we note when we are with patients, their behavior. A patient's behavior, hindi lang siya plea for help because there are two dimensions. Number one, di ba? A patient's behavior is a plea for help. That's one dimension. So, the need for help is the first dimension. The second is improvement. Ibig sabihin, depending on the behavior of the patient, you would know if the patient is in need for further assessment and therefore further planning or change of plan, change of focus of care. Kung kailangan mo palitan ang ginagawa mo o mas may gawin ka pa. Another dimension is a patient's behavior also identifies improvement. So it tells you if the patient or if the things that you are doing, the plan of care is working. So those are the two dimensions of a patient's behavior. Another major concept is the nurse's reaction. So what do we mean by the nurse's reaction? So this is the non-observable response to the patient's behavior. Kung ano yung take mo sa nangyari. Your feelings, your thoughts, your perception. So with the nurse's reaction, hindi siya agad ma-observe ng patient. No? Kasi the next concept will be the observable response. So, pag reaction, non-observable siya. So, what should be done with the nurse's reaction? The nurse has to share whatever reaction, whatever thought, no, or inference, or perception she has. And she has to validate that one with the patient, either verbally or to observe more, no, to ascertain if she has correctly identified the problem or the need and to identify the nursing action appropriate to resolve it. Kasi if you remember in the first slide under the deliberative nursing process, it was stated there that each patient had their own unique way of comprehending certain phenomenon about them. So, kailangan talaga i-validate natin kung tama ba yung naisip natin or our conclusion as to what is happening or what is the problem. To make sure that it is correct. Like what I said, no, the three dimensions of nurse's reaction is all in the thinking, kaya hindi siya observable. So, your perception, the thoughts, and the feelings of the nurse, that comprises of the reaction. Kaya, etong three dimensions na ito, we have to use in exploring our patients and their condition, the meaning of their behavior, and we have to validate, no, to make sure that our inferences are correct. Next, the third major concept is nurse's activity. So, the nurse's activity, ito naman, it is the observable action taken by the nurse in response to her reaction. So, upon thinking, no, upon witnessing a phenomena or a patient's behavior, you try to think, no, your mind is now working. So, that's nurse's reaction. When you intervene or you implement whatever action is necessary to answer the problem, then that's a nurse's activity. So, na-observe na siya ngayon ng pasyente. It can be, an example of a nurse's activity is when we are giving instructions, no, suggestion, we are giving information to the patient, may tanong siya, sinagot mo. Another example is when we make decisions for the patient or when we administer medications or treatments and when we change the patient's immediate environment. So those are included in the nurse's activity. So here we are now in the yung sinabi ko kanina, what's an automatic nursing process or reaction or response? And what's the other one? The deliberative. So there are two dimensions in our nurse's activity. One is the automatic, no? Ano itong automatic? From the word automatic, it is comprised of actions that are decided by the nurse for reasons other than the patient's immediate need. It's a nursing process without a discipline. So it encompasses several automatic um, activities. So, ang example nito, pagdating ng pasyente sa hospital, no, sasabihan mo ang pasyente na, o sige, you can wear a mask, no? Please wear a mask. Nung sinabi niya yon, it doesn't necessarily mean na there was a problem that needed to be solving. Hindi. In other terms, um, walang na-identify na problema or whatsoever. So that's what an automatic nursing response is. Another automatic nursing response, no, in to answer an immediate need, um, Halimbawa, no, the patient suddenly dropped dead on the floor. So you check pulse, check breathing, you start CPR without thinking of others. You do the steps already because it's being laid out. It's an automatic response, no? There is no time to think of other things but the immediate response needed. The second one is deliberative nursing process. So this is talking about a specific set of nurse behaviors or actions directed towards the patient's behavior. So this involves the nursing process, no? The ADPA, you have to assess really, then identify what is the problem. Then you plan on how answering the problem, implement the plan, and evaluate. So it is a nursing process with discipline. So those are the two dimensions of a nurse's activity. When we talk about the concepts of meta paradigm in Regina Lando's theory, a person was defined as or is defined as a developmental being with needs. So nursing clients are patients who are under medical care and who cannot deal with their needs or who cannot carry out medical treatment alone. While environment is being acknowledged as one that is important in the recovery of the patient. So anything that surrounds the patient, people, place, no situation, that's environment. Health is a sense of adequacy, no, or well-being when our needs are fulfilled and there is comfort felt by the patient. And when we talk about nursing, the theory states that it is a dynamic nurse-patient relationship and is responsive, no? Kaya nga sinabi natin na in deliberative nursing process, the nursing care plan is fluid. So responsive siya to whatever the patient's condition is, and it can really change depending on the need of the patient. So moving forward to our fourth theories, we have Dr. Madeline Leininger with her theory transcultural nursing or the culture care, diversity, and universality. So the purpose of transcultural nursing is to discover, no, and establish a body of knowledge and skills focused on transcultural care, health, and illness. This is in order to assist nurses giving culturally competent, safe, and congruent care to people of diverse culture worldwide. She already acknowledged, no, that at that time when she posited the theory, there were already nurses who were going out of their comfort zones and delivering care to other places where cultures might seem similar and other places also that where cultures are contrastingly different. So Dr. Leininger is the founder of transcultural nursing, and transcultural nursing is an area of study and practice focused on comparative human care differences and similarities of the beliefs, values, and practices of individuals or groups of similar or different cultures. When we take it, when we take the importance now, we are referring to kahit dito sa Pilipinas, no? Where in our country, we are also, um, the Filipino culture is also composed of several ethnic groups. So, meron talagang pagkakapare-pareho o pagkakaiba-iba. On the other hand, we also talk about the importance of transcultural nursing in the aspect of working overseas because of our OFW heroes, no? So it's really important to understand different cultures and to see where the common ground is and what to do, no, when we have similarities or differences. So with her theory, we have the following definition of verbs. So care is described or defined in her theory as the essence and the central unifying dominant domain to characterize nursing. When we talk about culture, ito naman yung set of values, beliefs, and traditions that are held by a specific group of people and naipapasa ito from generation to generation. It guides how we think, the decisions we do, and actions we make in patterned ways. Religion, on the other hand, is a set of belief in a divine or superhuman power to be obeyed and worshipped as the creator or ruler of the universe. Ethnic refers to the group of people who share a common and distinctive culture and or who remembers of a specific group. Ethnicity naman is the way that group no thinks or the consciousness belonging to that certain group. So collectively, when we talk about all of these terms, we now can say transcultural nursing defined as a learned subfield or branch of nursing, or is it defined as that branch of nursing that focuses upon the comparative and analysis of cultures concerning nursing and health, illness, caring practices, beliefs, and values to provide meaningful and efficacious nursing care services through their cultural values, health, illness, context.
This slide discusses the concepts that was tackled in transcultural nursing, mainly the culture or the concepts of culture and religion in healthcare. So it was also identified in the theory that there are some religious practices that can affect nursing care. So we have one, traditional remedies. What are traditional remedies? So these are the use of traditional medicine, like the use of roots, stem, flowers, seeds, and herbs, which some have been studied and tested and is used in countless countries. Kung maano, countries like China, no, they're fond of using roots and traditional medicine. Number two are healers. Ano naman ang healers? Healers are male or female with the power to heal, defined as persons with the power to heal. Malimit, kadalasan, alam natin ang healer by the word hilot, o manggagamot. So those kinds of people are still being used, no, in our country here and some in other countries. So, an example of religious beliefs that affect nursing care, we have number one, beliefs about birth and death. Sa example no, when a mother births or give birth to a baby, the placenta that they believe will end the labor pains of the mother has to be buried by the father. Kaya pinapadala, no? Para hindi siya maging troublesome child. And some would say throwing of a coin, passing through a funeral march. They believe that you are giving the dead pamasahe, going after life. In some countries, like in Egypt, they really bury their loved ones with treasures para may magamit sila pambili in the afterlife. Another religious belief or beliefs about food and practices. No? Depende yan sa kultura. Sa atin dito, nasamid ka, no? Nadunlan ikaw, nakagat mo ang dila mo, kumakain ka. Anong una mong tinatanong sa katabi mo? Give me a number. Sino ay hanang naglibak sa ako, no? Who's talking about me? Or here in nursing, bawal talaga ang pansit. Pansit, no? Noodles, pasta sa duty kasi toxic ka. Or the belief of not eating some medicines or no, eating some food during menstruation. Hindi pwede. Another thing is beliefs regarding the medical care. So, to each one of us who was born in a specific ethnic tribe and culture, meron talagang iba-ibang beliefs, no, sa medical care o sa paggamit or pag-seek ng health promotion goals. So all of this was discussed in the transcultural nursing. When we talk about transcultural nursing, we are also talking about immigration and the issues or the concepts under it, like for gender roles. So, sa unang nga panahon, no, male is really the dominant figure, the one who makes decision in life. In other countries, still, no, there is a strong culture of the man being able to be the one to decide when it comes to family planning, financial management, and healthcare practices. Sa atin dito, medyo nag-change na. But in other countries, there are still those that the one who will decide, no, especially when a female is unmarried, is the father or the next elder male. So, ganun ang mga gender roles. So, she reiterated we have to know what are the roles that are predominant in a certain society, especially one that we are going to work with. So, one other concept, no, when we talk about different cultures, different places, ang pagkakapare-pareho is that issues that concern in the promotion of health and prevention of disease are centering also on what we call economic barriers, no? Economic barriers that can lead or that is caused by unemployment, underemployment, walang trabaho, walang um, kulang ang trabaho, ang nagtatrabaho or ang trabaho, walang mga bahay, lack of health insurance, and poverty. So this is true, no, worldwide. Sa atin nga dito sa Manila, no, we have big cities like Manila in the Philippines. We thought na parang gara-gara, but actually it's just a facade. Marami pa rin, no, are poor, homeless, and unemployed. So this is still true to all regions of the world. So another concept is personal space and territoriality. So personal space and territoriality acknowledges that every person has their own set of behavior and their attitudes change towards the space around themselves. Oh, hospital is considered a territory. And when they are in the hospital, they still need to feel that they are at home. So the nurses should welcome the visiting family and extended family to lessen the effects of isolation and shock from hospitalization. Kasi nagbabago nga naman ang ugali natin, no? Depende kung nasaan tayo located. Depende kung that space is familiar to us or not. So when we talk about patients and being secluded in the hospital grounds, so one important thing is kahit saan man, no, kahit anong bansa, we still promote the visitation of the family to lessen isolation. So for the meta paradigm concepts, we have here person, health, environment, and nursing. So in her theory, person was defined as human beings and is capable of being concerned about others. Human beings are known to be caring. While health is a state of well being, it reflects the ability to perform daily roles. It includes health practices, patterns, and health promotion. Environment was defined as events with meanings and interpretations given to them in particular physical, ecological, social, political, or cultural setting. And last but not the least, in the same theory, nursing defined as it is a learned humanistic art and science that focuses on physical, psychocultural, and social significance for those assisted. So, last in our topic is Nola Pender's health promotion model. Nola Pender's health promotion model discusses health promotion and disease prevention, which should be the principal focus in healthcare. When health promotion and prevention fail to anticipate predicaments and problems, then care in illness becomes the subsequent priority. So mauna yung health promotion goals natin and health and disease prevention aims, no? And then saka lang tayo magkaka-priority sa care in the illness kasi if it fails na. So health promoting behavior is a desired behavioral outcome and is the endpoint of health promotion model. Health promoting behaviors should result in improved health, enhanced functional ability, and better quality of life at all stages of development. So the health promotion model develops to incorporate behaviors for improving health and applies across the lifespan. Its purpose is to assist nurses in knowing and understanding the major determinants of health behaviors as a foundation for behavioral counseling to promote well being and healthy lifestyles. It defines health as a positive dynamic state, not merely the absence of disease. So we have here the major concepts of a health promotion model. Number one, health promotion. What is health promotion? So it is defined as behavior motivated by the desire to increase well-being and actualize human health potential. It is an approach to wellness. Health protection, on the other hand, or illness prevention, is the behavior motivated to actively avoid illness, detect it early, or maintain functioning with the constraint of the illness. So those are the two concepts. So we have here the sub-concepts of the health promotion model. So these are the factors that might affect how one promotes his own health. So this includes the biological factors. Pag biological, these are attributes of a person such as age, no? Kasarian, body mass index, pubertal status, aerobic capacity, strength, agility, or balance. Then another one is psychological factors. How well do you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, your motivation, your competence, perceived health status, and what is health for you. The other one is social-cultural factors, the culture that we are born with, our race, our ethnicity, acculturation, education, and socio-economic status. Okay, so ano naman ang perceived benefits of action? So ito na yung kung ano sa tingin mo, no? Ang positive outcome na makukuha mo when you are engaged in positive health promotion activities. Ang perceived barriers of action, this one talks about the things that restrain you. If you can remember the change theory, so this is like a sub-concept of the change theory, the health promotion model. It talks about the driving forces. So that's your perceived benefits of action. And the perceived barriers of action will be your restraining forces. Perceived self-efficacy naman talks about ano ano sa tingin mo ang kaya mong gawin. Your judgment, no, of your capability to execute whatever health promoting behavior is planned for you. So it truly, no, perceived self-efficacy influences the perceived barriers to action, or higher efficacy results in lowered perceptions of barriers to the performance of the behavior. Kung feel mo, no, kung naniniwala kang kaya mo, no matter the barrier will be in the road, hindi mo siya masyadong iisipin. Kasi alam mong kaya mo. So that is what it means when we say perceived self-efficacy influences the perceived barriers to action. So another concept we have is activity-related affect, or yung nararamdaman mo. Pagkatapos mong gawin, for example, pagkatapos mong mag-exercise, no, you feel dread nung makita mo ang bahay nyo. Masyadong maraming kalat. Ayaw mong tinatamad ka, ayaw mong maglinis. Pero the moment na maglinis ka, no, dopamine is being produced in your body. The moment you do exercise, those are dopamine injecting activities. And you feel a sense of fulfillment. So that's what we say activity related affect is. It is the subjective positive or negative feeling that occurs before or during and following behavior. And these activity related affect influences self efficacy. When you feel good with what you do, you will keep on doing it. Kasi you felt good. So maiisip mo talaga yung more positive subjective feeling, no? And the greater the feeling of self-efficacy will be there. Ano pa ang other factors that can make or break health promotion? So we have interpersonal influences. So cognition concerning behaviors. The people that we are surrounded with. Are we supported, encouraged to do this? So these kind of factors also affect how a person, no, engages in health promotion. Primary sources of interpersonal influences among people are families, mga kasama natin, and the healthcare providers that we meet along the way. So kung in-encourage ka ng nurse mo, ng doctor mo, 'di ba? You would feel good. Pero kung masungit sila, this is another influence. Baka hindi mo na gawin yung dapat mong gawin. Then another one is situational influences. So these are personal perceptions and cognitions of any given situation or context that can facilitate or impede behavior. No? Sabihin mo, gusto ko naman sana magpapayat, pero wala naman akong time para mag-workout. Focus naman ako sa trabaho ko lagi. Aga pa ako gigising. Uuwi ako, madilim na. Wala na talagang oras. So those are situational influences. No? Situational influences may have direct or indirect influences on health. Another factor is commitment to plan of action. So the concept of intention and identification of a plan strategy leads to implementation of health behavior. So how committed are you, no, to the things or to the goals you have set in for yourself when we talk about health promotion? Okay, so we have also what we call immediate competing demands and preferences. So what is the difference? When we say competing demands, ito yung alternative behaviors over which individuals have low control because there are environmental contingencies, no, such as work or family care or responsibility. So these are demands coming on the other side, no, versus your health promotion activities. Hindi mo magawa kasi may trabaho, may pamilya, may iba kang responsibilidad. And competing preferences is there are two types of things that you are faced with, saan ang mas gusto mo? Example, gusto ko naman talaga mag-diet kesa mag-exercise. Now, the goal is to reach an acceptable BMI. So, mas gusto kong mag-diet kasi may exercise. Kasi pag exercise na papagod ako, kung magbabawas naman ako ng exercise sa meal, it will be the same. Oh. So, yun ang mga competing preferences. Alternative behaviors, where an individual, mayroon siyang mas malaking control over the options, no, placed in front of him to choose upon. Pag competing demands, medyo low ang control niya kasi this talks about major things like work, family, care, responsibilities. Close, and to finish our discussion, these are the major assumptions in the health promotion model. Number one, individuals seek to regulate their own behavior actively. Individuals in all their biopsychosocial complexity interact with the environment progressively, transforming the environment and being transformed over time. Health professionals constitute a part of the interpersonal environment which influences persons throughout their lifespan, and self-initiated reconfiguration of person-environment interactive patterns is essential for behavioral change. So that ends our lesson for today. No, this is my recorded discussion for you kasi medyo taban nga si ma'am, medyo sick si ma'am. No, tapos ginawa pang holiday ngayon. So this is what I leave you, no, to further ponder on. Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. So I would like you to expect for an evaluation by next week. And since Monday, Tuesday na lang ang ating class, I will set up a schedule for us, or I will give you a work to be recorded as an activity to be recorded as a quiz for this one. Furthermore, I will send you another lecture discussion. No, you will be having your rest day from 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 5 araw. Sa 5 araw na yon, may papadala ako sa inyo na supposed to be our lecture discussion for next week. No, like this, you will listen to it and do your homework and stuff for us to finish all our proposed concepts in the syllabus. So, magpapadala ulit ako ng parehan. Okay, so I hope you have a good day. Thank you very much for listening.